So what I realized is that my friends come to me with a lot of their problems and a lot of their challenges, and we talk through them because they know that I'm non-judgmental. They come to me with them, and then we talk through them, and then we find a solution, and then they move forward. And
You are listening to Anxious for Nothing with Pay, where together we overcome struggles with people pleasing and perfectionism so that we can truly value ourselves and create time to progress in all areas of our lives. I'll be sharing with you my personal experience using agile IT systems for prioritization, especially when family, work, life, health, finances, and our faith all collide into one. And most importantly, how to affirm our faith and identity in Christ during the storm, not just after it passes. Join me. This is time management like you've never known it before. Let's get started.
thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited and glad to have you here. If you're a new listener, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. If you've returned and you've been listening to me for a while and you have not already done so, please like and subscribe based on the listening platform that you're on. It would really help me and help new listeners find this good stuff as well. So last week we reflected on quarter one. And you can go back and listen to that after today's episode. So that was episode 11. Once you finish today's one, you can go back and listen to that. It was a bit like a mini version of my New Year's reflections episode. So what we do is every 3 months, if you're new here, every 3 months, I like us to go through a mini review. And the whole point of these mini reviews is to make sure that we're not derailing or moving away from the dreams, the goals that we set ourselves at the beginning of the year for what we wanted to achieve in 2026. So these 3 months quarterly check-ins are an opportunity for us to look back, reflect, look at what lessons we've learned and realize what we can do and improve to build on it going forward. And I realized that my second brain, i.e. my Trello, my productivity tool, is not able to sustain me right now for my current lifestyle that I've entered into. So I started a travel business. I need to up my game with my second brain. So I've been using Trello as my second brain, and I need to up my game because I started a travel business. My lifestyle has grown, it has changed, and my productivity tool, i.e. my second brain, it needs to grow and change with me. So I'm looking at ways of leveraging AI to fill that. And so this week, what we're going to do is we're going to draw back the curtains and I'm going to take you through my plans for Q2. So what were your plans for this year? And have you been able to action any of them towards your dreams? I mean, don't stress. My system and tools that I have in place ensure that you create time to make them happen without having to drop the ball on the important areas of our lives like work, church and family. For details of this tool, please look in the description. So if you remember at the start of this year, I explained that I was really going to reduce the amount of things that I have in each of the vision areas of my life. That was a lesson learned from 2025 that I was carrying into 2026. I'm glad to say I've kept it and it's been working exceptionally well for me. So for work, in my vision side for work, I'm going to be focusing on data flows. So I work as a finance product owner and I want to understand how the data's flowing. So last quarter, I was interested in looking at how we were connected, whether we were connected by the gold standard API or whether it was some tactical solutions. The things I wanted to do in Q1 so some of the things I had planned for Q1, I didn't do them. So they've now slipped into Q2. So I'm determined to make sure that I actually fulfill them and get them done in Q2, and I don't want them to slip into Q3. So as part of our planning, it's so important that we understand our capacity. Now, I talked about discipline and capacity in episode 10. So after this episode, you can go in and have a listen to that. I'll put the link in the description. So when you start working with me, the tools that I will teach you and show you will help you with your discipline. And in order to stay disciplined, as well as a clear vision and structure, having a good reason why will help you stay motivated and help with your discipline. However, to stay consistent, you don't only just need to be disciplined, you also need to make sure that you have the capacity to do it. So my prioritization tool, which I talked about earlier, helps you find capacity and know where to locate it. And you can download that from the description. So have you been able to create time to reflect over the last 3 months? Have you had time to see what areas of your life you can improve moving forward? And do you have a plan in place that you know that you can actually stick to? If you've not been able to answer yes to any of those questions, please do consider reaching out to me. So we've just talked about the importance of knowing your capacity when it comes to planning, and also that discipline and motivation are needed in order for us to be consistent. And I've talked about the adaptations that I will be making for Q2 following my Q1 review. Next, I'm going to share with you my plans for Q2.
There's always that one organizer in every group of friends. Last year, my friends came to me and said, Bimpe, we need to do a spa break together and you need to break down this travel business for us and investing thing because we just don't get it. Being a home-based travel agent means that I have access to hundreds of suppliers to get an amazing deal at 5-star spa hotels with breakfast for the night and earn commission. I did the same thing for another group of girls who just wanted something within their budget. They loved it and I earned commission too. So if you're thinking of starting your business from home in 2026 while still doing your full-time job, or if you want something while the kiddies are in school, this just might be for you. Have you considered being an ATAL and APTA accredited home-based travel agent? For more information and a free travel pack, please see details in the description.
Okay, so my Q2 plans, I'm so excited to share them with you because they are quite ambitious, as an ambitious woman that I am. Like I said, I mentioned that my Trello, it needs updating, and I'm looking at ways to use AI to help me. So there are 3 different types of AI. There's your AI that are going to help you with your content. There's AI that you can use for webs and apps. And then there's AI agents. So I'm looking at how I can incorporate all of those together to build a new life OS for myself, a life operating system. I realized that I need a life operating system. Like my Trello is great because it enables me to see all areas of my life in one place and do my bi-weekly planning. I'm able to check in on it every day, move things around, which is great. But now that I started this travel business, which is so great and I'm so excited about it, my second brain needs to grow to accommodate all of that. So I'm looking at AI and I'm looking at how I can now build a life operating system that incorporates all of this for me. So I'm looking at, so the next 3 months, this quarter, I'm going to be looking at investigating into different types of AIs platforms out there, things I can build, and also how I can incorporate the code framework by Tiago Fontaine, Second Brain, as part of that, as well as my agile principles that I've been using for the past 5 years that have just kept me, maintained me and given me capacity and allowed me to create the life that I want. I'm going to look at incorporating all of that together in one, because I realize that there's certain aspects of things that I repeat every week. Why not get AI to help with that heavy lifting? I also want to do some work around the house. So we had a loft conversion, and which has gone really great, but which means that all the junk that was in the loft is now in the out room. So I want to start looking at selling stuff on Vinted to declutter, and also need to do some mini home renovations as well. We need to do some painting around the house as well. True to myself about creating time for myself and time for rest, I have booked a spa with my hubby in April. So I'm looking forward to that. That's one of my key two plans. And another thing, like I mentioned before, is about looking at data flows. I'm also looking to do a launch for Anxious for Nothing. So for those of you that are interested in how to create time for the life that you want, do consider reaching out. When you do all of these coaching courses, some of the things that they say to you is, what do people always come to you with? What are the questions that people always ask you? What are people? And that's a good way to find out what your speciality is and what people like about you and what to teach and what to coach. So when I spoke to all my friends, they got back with me with, Bimpe, I love the fact that you are non-judgmental. Bimpe, you are non-judgmental. Bimpe, you are non... That's what they're saying. I'm like, thank you. I love the fact that that's how you see me. How am I going to monetize that? So what I realized is that my friends come to me with a lot of their problems and a lot of their challenges, and we talk through them because they know that I'm non-judgmental. They come to me with them and then we talk through them and then we find a solution. And then they move forward and then they're happy and they're great. So, right, okay. I'm not saying you should come to me with your tax problem because, Edjo, I'm not going to be able to help you with that one. But when it comes to managing your time, looking at strategies, that's me. I am your go-to girl. So I'm going to be looking at how I can do a mini launch of Anxious for Nothing, because I don't want you guys to be anxious for anything. You guys are my anxious for nothing. So I don't want you guys to be anxious for anything at all. So that's one. Another thing that I have that I want to be doing for Q2 is going out to more group events and networking events, meeting more people and going out to more events. And then I'm going to look at improving this podcast and how I can improve the SEO for this podcast. And then my son, he needs to find work experience. So that's still my radar. That's one of the things I wanted to get done in Q1, but it's now slipped into Q2, unfortunately. I need to do some redecorations. I mentioned that already. And then I want to really clean up my online presence. That's my goal for Q2 as well. Really clean that up and grow on my IG channel. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go and follow me on Instagram. It's at Bimpe Anxious for Nothing. You can go and follow me there. I'm also on TikTok now. On TikTok, I'm sharing my travel journey business there. So you can follow me there. Again, that's at Bimpe Anxious for Nothing on TikTok. You can follow me there as well. So that's some of the things I'm doing, and also like reviewing my routine, reviewing my timetable, because I've noticed that my life has changed. It has grown. So I started work on reviewing that and implementing a new timetable for Q2. So I'm really excited to start my new timetable. You know, when you start school, you get a new timetable, you're trying to find out who's in your class. Yep, I have given myself a new timetable, which I am excited about. So that was my Q2 plan. So in 3 months' time, we'll do this again, and we can look at how that went. So make sure that you're subscribed and make sure that you're following so that you can know when that lands and see how I got on. So in summary, once you've done your review, also look at how you can apply your learnings going forward. There's no point just doing a review and saying, okay, this worked, that worked. It's also important to look at, okay, how am I going to implement what I've learned to get that 1% better each time? And then as well as that, when you're doing your planning, it's so important to understand your capacity. Before you start planning, you need to understand how much space do you have available? How much can you physically do? And that's something that I share and teach when you come to work with me. And it's important that we do this so that we don't overcommit. And then lastly, check that your plans that you're planning for the next quarter align with your bigger vision. What was your vision for 2026? Are your plans and what you're doing in the next quarter still in alignment with it? I really hope they are, because I want you to look back on the 31st of December, at that crossover night service, saying, yes, I have grown this 2026. Yes, I have stepped into that woman that I wanted to be, that I saw in my vision at the beginning of the year. I have now manifested it and I have become that person. Thank you so much for your time and for listening all the way up until now. If you have been listening till the end and you have not yet subscribed, girl, please subscribe. Press that button, subscribe, and share with your friends. And even better, please leave a review. I'd love to hear from you. All the best. And remember, you are anxious for nothing.
You want guilt-free time for yourself without sacrificing your peace of mind. I've been there and I get it. Visit www.anxiousfornothing.kit.com and get my free prioritization guide designed to help you create more time for what truly matters without sacrificing family, work, or your values. I want us to experience what it truly means to be anxious for nothing with more time, less pressure, and freedom from people pleasing. That's anxiousfornothing.kit.com for your free guide. Thank you for listening. I'm Bimpe. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you are anxious for nothing, and when you win, everyone wins.